Hello everybody, it's Andy from Andy's Travel Blog. I am finally back on YouTube, and I could tell you all about what I've been doing, but I would rather show you what I've been doing. Now, South Africa and specifically Cape Town have been at or near the top of my list for a long time. And last July, I think it was, a buddy of mine named Jon and I, we found $570 round trip airfare out of Dallas to Cape Town. We looked at each other and we said, well, we have to go. So we decided to go. And that's what we're going to talk about. And that's what I'm going to show you today. We went to South Africa and had a blast of a trip. And so I want to show you what we did and what we experienced. But I do want to highlight this little thing right here. So this little thing right here is a DJI Osmo Pocket. Let's see if I can get this to focus up here. So this little guy is a 4K stabilized camera, and it's so stinking cool. So it came out like right before we left for South Africa, and I decided to take it along with us. So not only am I going to tell you about what we did in South Africa, but this is also going to function as a product test for this beautiful little stabilized 4K shooting DJI Osmo Pocket. Not sponsored by DJI, you know that. But this thing's $350, and I was like, all right, this is going to be a great place to give it a good and thorough testing. So where did we start off? We started out in Dallas, then we flew to Detroit, which is the opposite direction from South Africa. But then we went to Amsterdam, which was I think 7 or 8 hour flight, had like an hour layover, and then immediately jumped on another flight from Amsterdam directly to Cape Town, which is a nice and tidy 11.5 hour trip. Well, just for that last leg. The whole thing took like 27 hours. This is just a little glimpse of what that looked like. Okay, that may not have been the most exciting thing ever because it wasn't the most exciting flight ever. I've done first class on a bunch of different airlines, and I've done coach on a lot of different airlines, and Delta was great and KLM was great as well, but it was coach, and it was 27 hours of coach. So by the time we got to Cape Town, we got there at like midnight, we were both exhausted. And like into the next day, we were still both exhausted. We were jet lagged beyond all reason. And so we decided to do something pretty cool to kind of help us beat the jet lag, generate some excitement. Okay, so that last clip ended with a little sunset panning shot. That was with the Osmo Pocket, but that was also where we were staying. We were staying in an Airbnb in Mooley Point in Cape Town. It ran like $80 a night, and it was wonderful. They have great hotels there, but the Airbnbs are really cheap, and the place we were staying at was really safe. Didn't have really any security issues. We used Uber the whole time, and it was wonderful. There's a little market right down the street, so we could buy our own food instead of having to go out every time. So yeah, it was really nice. Okay, so the next part of the trip is where it gets a little weird. So Jon and I both wanted to go dive with great white sharks, and we found a great white shark tour operator called Shark Quest was the website, and we got scammed out of our money. Shark Quest is a front for some tourist operators down in like Bombay or something like that, and they took our money and they just flat out didn't show up to pick us up for our tour. Not only that, but at the publishing of this video, which is March 2019, the great white sharks have been largely gone from the Cape Town area for like the past 2 years. They think it may have been like a pod of killer whales that showed up and ate a couple of great white sharks and killed a few of them. But great white sharks are largely missing. So not only did they not inform us of that, but they took our money and never showed up. So luckily we had credit card protection. We initiated a chargeback. We got our money back. So that was fine. Now, we didn't want to ruin the whole day and be pissed off the whole day, so we decided to go rent a car and drive down to the Cape of Good Hope. Now, I was the driver, and it was on the left side of the road, so I was a bit nervous, but I have done that before in New Zealand, and I almost didn't hit anybody in New Zealand, so I was feeling pretty confident this time. This is what happened. Okay, so when we got back from the Cape of Good Hope, which was awesome, I've now been to the Cape of Good Hope, and I've also been to the Straits of Magellan down at the bottom of South America when I was in Torres del Paine National Park a couple of years ago. So that was really cool, getting to be kind of on the bottom shipping area of both, of Africa and South America, if you're into like shipping straight geography or something. Anyways, we got back from there, we relaxed a little bit, and then we decided to go to the top of one of Cape Town's most beautiful areas, Table Mountain. So sorry for the abrupt ending there. I kind of ran out of music and ran out of footage. But Table Mountain was absolutely beautiful. It was kind of expensive to get up there, but really nothing's that expensive once you're in Cape Town. And it was just beautiful. There were tons of people from all around the world there. We were sitting there talking to some girls from Northern Ireland as I was shooting that time lapse of the sun setting. It was so much fun. Okay, so then the next morning we had booked through Apex Predators in Simontown. We once SharkQuest scammed us out of our money. We were on our way down to the Cape of Good Hope and we stopped in Simontown, met them. They told us the real situation. They said, okay, the great whites are largely gone. We do a shark expedition to Seal Island, like the one you see in Shark Week, Seal Island. So we went out to Seal Island that next day. We weren't seeing great white sharks. We were seeing these prehistoric 7-gilled sharks. And the reason I say prehistoric 7-gilled sharks is that the real name of the shark isn't as impressive as great white shark. They're called cow sharks. Now, they can still be big, and they were still pretty like pointy teethy and sharky, but they just weren't as big. They topped at about 3 meters long, about 10 feet long was the biggest one that we saw. The only funny part though was we were sitting there in the cage, and these cages are huge and massive, and they're built to stop a great white shark. And the cage has a little floor in it. So at one point I reached down, I was gonna set my feet against the floor so I could look around for sharks. And the whole time you're doing it, it's kind of a contrived experience, honestly. It wasn't the best experience. Just now, nothing against the tour operator, they were wonderful, but the whole thing just felt kind of contrived and it smelled bad and all this other stuff. But anyways, so we got down into the cage and I pushed myself underwater and I was reaching down for the floor because they had a little hook that you could like hook your foot underneath and stay under for longer. And when I reached down for the ground, instead of feeling like metal, it felt soft. So I looked down and a shark had gotten into the cage. Like a shark was in the cage with us. So very quickly I got out of the cage and like in one motion, like jumped out of the cage and back into the boat. Everything was fine. The shark was just hunting around. It wasn't looking for us. It wasn't trying to eat us or anything. It just kind of got lost and ended up in a cage. So anyways, we got back from the shark stuff and we had one more day left in Cape Town. That day, I wanted to do something that I had wanted to do for a long time. It was probably the main reason I wanted to go to Cape Town. I wanted to climb Lion's Head. So we got up really early the next morning because I wanted to be at Lion's Head when sunrise happened. That's one of the best views of Cape Town, the sun rising right over Cape Town from Lion's Head. I wanted to see it. Thankfully, Jon was up for it. We took an Uber way too early to the trailhead of Lion's Head and embarked on a fantastic hike. It was one of the most memorable experiences of my life. And here's a little bit about why. So Lion's Head was just about perfect. I say just about because there were some ancillary things that I don't really want to get into about what happened at the bottom of the trail. But anyways, that wraps up not only our experience in Cape Town. We flew back basically the same way as we flew down there, Delta and KLM and coach. Actually, I upgraded a business on the way back from Amsterdam to JFK, and that was awesome. I'll have a trip report up pretty soon at andystravelblog.com about that. But yeah, it was a phenomenal trip. Absolutely phenomenal. And one of the stars of the show was this little thing right here, the DJI Osmo Pocket. Now, I liked it so much that I bought a second one. Not because I needed two so I could like double fist them, but because I actually lost one of these in South Africa. Now, luckily I had backed up my footage literally the night before I lost it, but at some point between the Airbnb and the airport, I lost it. So who knows what happened to it. Whoever has it, I hope you're enjoying it. But yeah, this thing gives us some great footage, as I hope you'll agree. Anyways, as far as Cape Town goes, it's a wonderful place. It doesn't come without its caveats. It's not the safest place in the world, but we just kind of were smart and stayed in nice areas as best we could, and we didn't have any problems at all. The people we met were great. We had an Uber driver who was a big Rasta guy, and so we get in the Uber, and this guy goes, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Texas." He goes, "Uber Rasta in Cape Town. We drive in Texas around." And he drove us like right where we were trying to go. It was one of the best Uber rides in my life. So if you see this Uber Rasta, man, I'm trying to represent for you. So I don't know. If you haven't been to Cape Town, please go. I hope you enjoyed this little glimpse into Cape Town. And most of all, I'm back on YouTube now. So hopefully I'll be cranking out some more videos for you, some more Amenity Kit reviews and some other things. But until next time, this is Andy from Andy's Travel Blog. Take care out there, and we'll see you in the skies.